go. Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk. I'm your host, Andrew James, and I have joining with me today, the lovely and talented Niocie Browne.
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure for me to be here to share with you some of my experiences at Mackenzie High and what I'm doing today. So, hi.
Thank you, Thank you, Niocie. I'm so glad that you're here with us today. I know you have a busy schedule, so I'll get right into it. Let's talk about your time at Mackenzie High School, if you don't mind sharing with us.
Well, I started Mackenzie High School in 1993. I started out in Opal, and then I moved on to Agri for S2. And one of the reasons for that is because at that time I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, and the agri stream seemed like a general option. That was before Mackenzie I introduced their 4 general stream. Um, so yes, I spent my last 2 years in agri stream. My experience at Mackenzie High was quite interesting. I would not consider myself as a model student because I was very mischievous and disgusting, but through it all, I tried to get the work done, and here I am today. So
Excellent. I wouldn't agree with that. I would say a little mischievous. I think we all had it in us as students. Um, I had the pleasure and the opportunity of sharing classes with you, I think from Form 4 to Form 5. And then after I left, then I went over to start my new life in China. And here I am today. What was your favorite teacher, if you don't mind sharing with us, and your favorite subject?
My favorite subject was agriculture science. And I think the reason for that is because there was a practical aspect to agri. You know, you got to go to the farm, you get to go to Sarpana, you get to go on some field trips. So I enjoyed agri, and I also liked the teacher. I think she was my favorite teacher, Miss Osborne. That was in Lysias. But then when we went over to main building, we had Mr. Daniels. But yeah, I think I liked agri because, you know, we get to do it. It wasn't just always in the classroom. So that was fun.
So I think it's fair to say you enjoy more so the practical experience of being in the agriculture stream.
That is true. That is true.
I think in itself, this is going to be an interesting interview because, you know, I think we both share a lot in common. And I know you to be I'll say, a very adventurous young woman at the time. My third question to you is, how did MHS prepare you for the real work of work, the real life of work, if I may, sorry. And if you don't mind sharing, what do you do in your current job?
Currently I'm a teacher, and I think MHS prepared me because, you know, it was one of those schools where you had to be disciplined. So even though you were mischievous or whatever, they taught you discipline. And that's one of the things I learned. And even in agriculture science, you learn to be disciplined, to focus, and those kind of things. When I left Mackenzie High School, I went straight into teachers training college, and then I started out teaching. You know, after I graduated, I started teaching at a couple of schools in Linden and Georgetown. Then I got a job at the American School in Georgetown. And while there, you know, there were a lot of teachers that were coming from other countries to do maybe a 2-year stint at the American school, and then they would leave. And I thought to myself, well, if they can come here and teach, maybe I can go somewhere else and also do the same thing that they're doing.
Right.
Because I noticed, you know, they come and they're working, but yet they get to enjoy the culture of our country. And so it's like a working vacation, kind of. So it inspired me,
Right.
and I decided, you know, I want to do the same thing. So I applied, and currently I've been in the Republic of Congo for the past 4 years teaching mathematics at an American school there. Yeah.
Wow. So nothing to do with agriculture science, but more so mathematics.
Nothing to do with agriculture science at all. And that's one of the things I wanted to emphasize in terms of, you know, the current students. I feel like a lot of times we don't have many options. I think most kids They want to become lawyers, doctors, teachers, nurse. It's like the basic, and they don't see past. I think this forum that we have hundreds of people in this group, and they're all doing different things. And I think, one way of inspiring those young people is to show them that there's more to life than just the basics that they see around them every day.
Interesting. Thank you for sharing. This is very powerful. I mean, I take for granted that I have an opportunity to interview, past students. But I should say that this interview of all, I think has affected me positively in some ways. I mean, the fact of you sharing your experience that you left Guyana and transition over to where you are currently. Um, what is that like? I know this is not in keeping with what we're supposed to do, but do you mind sharing your experience? I mean, I always hear about Africa, and we see the image being portrayed on the TV and stuff, and I would say to myself, "Look, little pretty Niocie, why would she leave Guyana to go to Africa?" Like, and I should say, uh, in some regards, it might be ignorance on my part because I for one have not experienced Africa, and I'm really excited about learning what happens there. I mean, can you give us like a bird's eye view of what it's like to transition from Guyana? Not to make a parallel, but if you can just give us a little bit of what your experience is like in Africa as a teacher, if you don't mind.
I would love to share. You know, when I made that decision to leave Guyana, I had no idea where I wanted to go. We have this website with all these international schools, and I just decided, okay, I'm going to start from A, and I started sending out applications, A countries, B countries, C countries, and I continued. Then I got the response from Africa, from the Republic of Congo, and I did the interview and I got the job, and I was so excited. And I thought to myself, wow, am I really going to do this? Um, but I did, and I do not regret that decision 4 years later. And like you said, I was also ignorant about a lot of things in terms of Africa. But when I came, it was really eye-opening. Like I touched down in the Republic of Congo, and I could not believe the development that I saw.
Mhm.
I've had an opportunity, and I thank God for get, you know providing for me so that I can have that opportunity to travel. I've traveled to maybe 6 or 7 different countries in Africa, and the development that you see, it is amazing. Um, Currently I'm in South Africa because I came for vacation and the borders closed and I got stuck here for the last 3 months. And I mean, it's so developed. It's almost anything you can see in the US or in Canada. The roads, the infrastructure, the malls, it's amazing, the stadiums. I really want to try to find a way to portray Africa in a different light, because when people think of it, all they think of it animals and scrawny looking kids and poverty, but that's not what it is. It's an amazing opportunity and an amazing experience to see everything. Like there are different countries and different things to offer. You can get blue water beaches just like Barbados. You can get mountains and hills, and everything you can think about is here. And I really want to take this opportunity to encourage anyone. If you ever think of traveling or experience in Africa, give me a call. I have a big home and I have space. I am so willing to accommodate you, and it's not as expensive as you might think. So if you ever want to just know, give me a shout out. I am willing to open my home to you any day.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. I think I might take you up on that offer, but we can talk about the costs and accommodations off later on. What advice?
Free accommodation, free
Okay,
accommodation.
I like free stuff. I really do. What advice would you give to current MHS students?
You know, um, I have, as a teacher, I have the privilege of seeing it from both sides, as a student, and then myself being a teacher and seeing other students. Um, just focus. Um, Sometimes, as a student, I used to think, oh, these teachers are so hard. Some of them are so mean. But in the end of the day, these teachers really are trying to give you the best opportunity. So stay focused. Don't be discouraged, even if at this point in your life, you might not be doing so well academically. Don't give up. I mean, I was never like first in my class or second in my class, but still, don't give up. I think that's the most important advice I can give to current students. Just focus, keep pressing on, and know that there's a big wide world out there and there's lots of room to accommodate you. So just keep pressing and do the best that you can.
Very good, very good, very deep stuff. It brings me back to my years at Regma Primary School. I remember one time I got 23rd space in my and it was in it was Christmas, and I went home with this full report card, and my mom, I don't know what went through her head, but I was thinking, she said to me, she says, "How many kids are in your class?" And I said, "I don't know." I said, "I don't know. I think 20." But in spite of it all, I think I really like what you said. I think it's important that we never ever give up in life. We never give up on, we never give up in school. We never give up in family. We never, you and I, we have a lot in common. We went through a lot of different stuff, but I think that's a conversation. We can probably have a heart to heart conversation. I think we should start having a different episode or a different program, and I'll speak with the admin, and we can have heart to heart conversations. I
Yes, I agree.
I think
Sometimes it's good to do conversations that are less formal. I mean, the formal conversations are important, but sometimes it's good to just reflect on the path. I really feel like a lot of times we tell kids where we are now, but what kids really want to know is, how did we get there?
right.
How did we get there? And I think that's the more important discussion. I think we had one thread in the group where, they were asking, okay, what do you do now? And people were saying all these amazing things that they're
Mhm.
doing. But to a child or a current student, they want to know, how did you move from Mackenzie High School? What did you study? You know, what was the path that led you to where you are now? And I think that's an important conversation.
Okay, thank you. I think this is gonna make for some good discussion. I will take you up on the offer of having a heart to heart segment. I think because one time, we're big people now. We can look back in life and we can talk about silly stuff. I think,
Exactly.
I think it's fair to say one time me and you had a little scribble. We had a little fight. We had a little cat fight. I can, we're big people now. We can look back at it and laugh. But I can't remember what the fight was about. But it was a little, it was a little. Wasn't a big beat out, doesn't it? But a little pushing, shoving kind of match. But in spite of that, we look back and then we can still have a good laugh and we can say, it was all good. It was our little young days and this and
It
that. My
was.
last question, just to wrap it up, just to ensure I don't lose my job hosting this program. What advice would you give to the current admin of this group, um, in terms of program that we can do to benefit current students at Mackenzie High School? Just keeping it, bringing the conversation back together, if I may.
Yeah, I think as the admin, we need to look at how we can impact the lives of the current students. I mean, what we're doing now, what you guys are doing now, it's the beginning phase, bringing everyone together. But I feel like we really, as a group, need to find a way to impact the lives of students, whether it be financially or, giving back through programs. maybe tutoring programs, after school programs. Um, I really feel like as a group, we're in a position to give back and not just hear, watch a video or hear, you know, just listen to this talk or whatever. But I feel like we can pool our resources together. Those who can, they can give. You need to find a way maybe to contact the current administration of the school, find out what are the needs. Pick a few students that have, sometimes you have students with ability, but they don't have the financial resources.
Mhm.
And I feel like school shouldn't just be in the classroom. I feel like students need to have a rounded experience. And you might
Mhm.
have that kid whose parent cannot afford to send them on the field trip. And
Right.
that takes away from the overall experience of school. So if we can help in that way to provide that extra boost, maybe textbooks, I think we should find some students that are in need,
Mhm.
and we should trace those students and move with them through. Those who are currently in Guyana, I think we can offer maybe some kind of after school program for these kids. But I feel like we need to impact the lives of the students in a deep, meaningful way.
Niocie Browne, thank you very much for being a part of this interview. It's powerful stuff. Just to answer your question in terms of being more serious and approaching the holistic approach of students at Mackenzie High School, I think it's fair to say that the organization is, we are in a transitional phase whereby we're looking to establish a structured organization so we can start channeling resources and funds in a fair and a very transparent manner to ensure accountability and fairness in the distribution of whatever resources is acquired. I think it's fair to say that the organization or the association or the group is making impressionable imprints. And I want to encourage people to stand by and be in support of what we're doing. Together we can make a difference. Niocie Browne, on behalf of the admin team, I want to take this opportunity to thank you very much for sharing with us. It's an honor and privilege, and this discussion will lead to many more to come. Thank you very much. Have a good day, and God bless you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good
Bye.
night. Good night.